Very good evening, all of you. Hope you all are doing well. Let's start with our today's session. Just a quick recap of yesterday's session, right? Mainly in yesterday's session, I gave you the modules what we are going to cover. In short, like syllabus or the roadmap, what all main modules. Like first will be the core Java part, advanced Java, then the Spring framework, then front end part, right? And then mini projects and preparation of interview, all such things will be covered in this whole course. Then we started with actual syllabus, in which first main thing we discussed, what do you mean by paradigm? What are programming paradigms? Then two important paradigms are there, imperative programming and declarative. Then in imperative only, two main methodologies we saw, that is procedure oriented and object oriented. I hope it is quite clear to you between procedure oriented programming and object oriented programming. And then we started with object oriented programming buzzwords. We didn't took all initially to start with the important features which we need that we took, like what is object, what is class, what is encapsulation, abstraction. Okay, there are a few more like polymorphism, inheritance. So that will discuss it in the appropriate topic. Don't worry. Okay, whenever we'll start with classes and objects, that time I'll tell you about overlap. Overloading means what. When we'll start with inheritance, that time I'll tell you about overriding. So overriding, overloading, they are polymorphism features. Then what is inheritance concept? At the appropriate time, we will discuss. Okay. Now today we will start with the actual Java learning process. Okay. So in that, today we are going to discuss history of Java. I know many of you don't like history, but there is no option. We have to go through it. If you want to learn everything, learn in detail, right? So we will start first with the history part of Java, how Java came into existence, and then we will see the features of Java, and then we will start first Java program and our programming journey will start. Okay. But before telling you about history of Java, I have to tell you something about one company called Sun Microsystem. Okay. Many of you might have heard also about Sun Microsystem. Later in around 2000, in 2001, after Sun Oracle took over it. So later it has become Oracle Sun Microsystem. So before telling you about the history of Java, we need to know some basics about this company, Sun Microsystem. Four main people are there who have made this company. In that, one is the Indian person, Vinod Khosla. Then we have Bill Joy, who was in making of Unix as well. Some more people, but at least you should know that one Indian origin person is also in making of this company. And as I said, later it was taken over by Oracle, so they have to put their trademark, so it become Sun Oracle. It is located in Santa Carla, California, USA. Now I'll say, what about this company? So this is one company which has created their own processor. They have created their own operating system as well, and they have made their own language as well, that is Java. So that is the speciality. Instead of telling directly about Java, we need to know about this. So as I said, the Sun Microsystem, they have come with their own processor, like Intel company. So Intel has made their own processor. Processor means central processing unit. the brain of your computer, who does the actual number crunching, calculations, and decisions, addition, subtraction, getting? So all that activity, who does? The brain of your computer, that is the processor. Nowadays, smart, everything is smart. So your cell phone is also having a processor. Your smart watches are also having. So they came with their own processor, and that processor is called as Spark. Okay, so they have series of it. Spark, Ultra Spark, Super Spark. You'll say, what does that Spark means? It is scalable processor architecture. Getting? Actually, this processor is used in supercomputers. In short, they created processors for supercomputers. And supercomputers are computers which can handle 300, 400 workstations at a time. Computer in which there is no one CPU. There are hundreds of CPU. Getting? And that CPUs are in the form of mesh architectures, like they are connected with each other, and then they all are slave processor. There will be a master processor which is dividing the task and giving them. So not one processor, there are multi-processor architecture. So this processor is specially for supercomputers. Getting? You should be proud that in Pune University, in if you have done your graduation or post graduation from Savitribai Phule Pune University. So in Pune University also there is a CDAC center. Those people also have come with their processor called Param 9000, Param 10,000. If you have heard about it, Dr. Vijay Bhatkar, he was the main in making of it. Later he got Padma Shri also from our Indian government. So you should be proud that in Pune University also such supercomputers are made. So I wanted to tell that this company, okay, they this company has come with their own processor, and that processor, as I said, is specially for supercomputers. Okay, so it's called a scalable processor architecture. Why it is called scalable? Because that mesh which I told, there are many slave processors, and then there is one master processor. So that mesh can be reduced or increased. You can increase that number of processors, you can decrease the number of processors. Okay. And we have the series of it, like Super Spark, Ultra Spark. Okay. And all these processors are specially for supercomputers. I said in Pune University also, Param 10,000, Param 9,000, they have made it. Many other companies are there, like AS400 and all. So one thing, they came with their own processor. Then they designed their own OS as well. And that OS was inspired from Unix kernel. Internally, they have used the similar kernel only. It's an open source operating system. If you want, you can download their ISO image, and in your virtual box, you can add and you can start using their Open Solaris. It's called a Sun Solaris or Open Solar because it is free. It's not like Microsoft Windows. You don't have to purchase license and all. It's free. And along with the source code, it's purely developed in C, assembly language and all. So if you're good enough in that language, you can study that OS. You can make your new OS. Okay. Robert Love has given 10,000 lines code of that operating system. So that OS also this company has made called as Sun Solaris. What is the speciality of that OS? It's a multi-user operating system, time-shared operating system, generally used where there are multiple users connected to that workstation and all. So multi-user operating system, specialities, it is open source, means they have provided it free also and along with the source code, which is developed mostly into C language and in assembly. Some part is developed in assembly. So if you're good enough, you can study good enough in that language. You can study, you can recreate it or modify and come with your new version. And as I said, The kernel of that OS is completely based on Unix operating system. Unix operating system is also the first multi-user operating system. And in making of Unix, Bill Joy was there. And later, Bill Joy was one team member in the founder of Sun Microsystem. Okay? And this company has come with their own language as well. We are going to learn in detail about that language, means the history of that language as well. Now, I just wanted to tell that this company came with this three important things, and that's why uh, before starting with Java history, we need to know about this company. Okay, so even Pune University also has created their own OS. Remember, in again in CDAC Center only, that's called as BOS OS. That is Bharat Operating System Services. It is also similar, open source. It is based on uh, Unix kernel only. It's very much like Kali Linux and all. We have heard about. I don't know whether you have used open source operating systems like Red Hat or Mandriva, SUSE. Many are there. Kali Linux is there. So it is somewhat like. So Pune University also has. They have also made their own OS, and this Sun microsystem has come with one powerful language as well called Java. So Java is the object-oriented programming language. It is multi-purpose programming language, means you can use for creating standalone applications. You can use it for web applications, okay, for graphics, game development. So many application areas there. But in today's day, Java is specially for web related only. Therefore, today's day, many books say that Java is the language of internet. So it is an object-oriented programming language. It is multi-purpose programming language. And very important feature of Java is it is platform independent. Means if you compile it on one machine and you get a bytecode, that bytecode you can execute on any system in the globe, in the entire globe. Let their OS be anything, let their hardware be anything. But now you'll say how it is possible. That's what we are going to learn. So it is a object-oriented programming language. Object-oriented means yesterday we have seen those two paradigms. Everything written in the form of class. Then inside class there will be data, methods. Then we'll create copies of those class called objects. Then those objects will interact with each other through methods. Okay. Multi-purpose you can use for standalone game developments and all. You can use it for database. You can use it for web applications. So many. Getting? And it is platform independent. As I said, compile once and run anywhere. Means after compiling, once you get the bytecode, you can execute on any machine in the globe, irrespective what OS or what architecture that machine is having. Still you'll be able to execute that bytecode. Okay, so I hope that part is clear to you guys. Just I'll add this animation. Okay, so can you give me quick confirmation that okay, you got to know a little bit about Sun Microsystem. You can ask to ChatGPT also, the owners of Sun Micros, the initial who formed that company. So in that one member is Indian origin, that is Vinod Khosla. Should know about him. Bill Joy, he was in AT&T Bell Labs. He was one member of creating Unix, and then later he was in Sun Microsystem also. Okay, so can you give me quick confirmation so that we can move ahead with the actual history of Java? Okay, you need to have patience to hear me. Okay, can anyone? Okay,
Understood, sir.
sure. Let's move ahead. So around 1990, now till 1990, C++ was already in boom. In 72, 73, C came. Then in 83, C++. So around one decade, people are already comfortable with those languages. Okay. So what I said in around 1990 at Sun Microsystem, James Gosling and his team of people. There were many more. In that team, Bill Joy was one, Patrick Norton, Jonathan, getting so many more members. So James Gosling was given one task, okay, and the task was to write a software which will control electronic devices, okay, electronic consumable devices, such devices which are controlled by a remote or a touch panel, okay, like home security systems are there, or your refrigerator is there, or AC, getting so such device or telecom panels are there, so that controlling such panels. So Gosling and his team were given one task to write a software which will control electronic devices. Getting? So I said in 1990 at Sun Microsystem, James Gosling, and he was given to write a software which will control electronic devices. Obviously, such softwares are embedded softwares. I mean, these are the softwares we develop it, then the machine code is burned on the chip, and the chip is already put into that system. And whatever program is there on the chip, it will keep controlling that device. Same thing is there in your washing machines, fuzzy logic based washing machines, which are there at your home. Nowadays, we have smart refrigerators, smart ACs, which you control through cell phones only. Okay. So he was given that task, like all such consumable devices, control using remote or touch panel. Initially, he thought of using C++. Getting? So he thought, let's create such software which will control this electronic device using C++, because because of its OOP nature, object-oriented programming, as it's an object-oriented language, and already people are using that language from long time. Not only OOP, it is middle level also. Means it was having facility of controlling hardware as well as it's a high level language. So he thought of using C++. Okay. But then soon they found out some drawbacks in C++. And what are those drawbacks? That also we are going to list out the main drawbacks. Okay. So I hope you got it that in 1990, Sun Microsystem, James Gosling and his team, they were given one task to write a software which will control electronic devices, such devices which are controlled using touch panels or remote. He called that project as Green Project. Now there is a history behind that also, why he has given name Green Project. I won't go into too much detail because you'll say then when we will be learning Java, because your main intention is learning Java. So you can explore. Okay. I hope you will do that. If you are really curious, you can do that work right on. So he gave name to the project as Green Project, and they called their team also as Green Team. Okay. Right. So their project name was Green Project, and the team name they called as Green Team. Okay. They all are superheroes and all. Those who are fascinated with their movies. I don't know whether you are your generation. I hope you are. Getting so all your Superman and Iron Man and so many. Getting so generally they are also of that type. No? They are powerful people. Those who have made such powerful language. So they called their team as Green Team. And as I said, initially they decided to use C++ as the language for developing that software which will control electronic devices. Okay. Generally in our academics, right now, in our academics, we don't see how to use C++ for controlling hardware and all. We have done it like using C++ and little bit of assembly part and all. We have controlled. I created a small crane which used to get lifted up and down, or controlling a fan. So many things we have done using some part in assembly and C++. So initially they thought of developing that software using C++, but as I said, they found out some language drawbacks in it. Okay. Why C++? Because I said it is object-oriented programming, it is middle level, it's having bitwise operators, pointers, all those things give hardware control. So why not to use it? But as I said, they found out some drawbacks in C++. And now what to do? As there are some drawbacks. So what those drawbacks are, that first we will make it clear. And then to overcome those drawbacks, what solution they found out. That also we will see. But first, what we'll do is we will make the drawbacks clear so that it will be very much clear to you in interview perspective also. Okay. But before going to the drawbacks, just go through the picture of a photo of all the green team members. Now, each and everyone's name I'm not going to list out, but the main people is James Gosling, is Patrick Norton, is Mike Sheridan, okay, Bill Joy. Bill Joy is, you should never forget, because he was in Unix making also. He created his own shell scripting language. Okay, Unix shell scripting language was made by him. Then she's Jonathan. So they are main team member. They were given different responsibilities. Like James Gosling was given the responsibility of language selection and all. Okay, language selection for the project. Some were given a task of UI making. Some were given for fundraising. Okay, so Patrick Norton, he was for graphics part. Mike Sheridan was for business development. Obviously, if they make that software, so there has to be client who will take that software to control their devices. Like if they're making a software which will control washing machine, so there should be companies who will be installing their software in their washing machine, right or no? So they have to bring funding for that project. So different tasks were given to these people. Getting? Now, first, what we'll do is we will highlight the main problems which were there in C++. And then to overcome this problem, what they did, that too we will see. But now I hope you can guess that how the making of Java started from controlling electronic device and how it has done the transition in internet applications. As you will come to know that initially Java started for controlling electronic device. And today we say Java is the language of internet for developing web applications. How the transition took place from this domain to that domain, that also we will learn. Don't worry. Correct? The first problem of C++ is about multiple inheritance. Okay. It faces diamond problem. I'm sure those who have learned C++, they might be knowing about it. Those who haven't, don't worry. Correct? Just know it. So problem is multiple inheritance, especially. Now you say, what do you mean by inheritance? Right or no? Inheritance means mechanism of creating one class from another. Means already there is one class. It is an object-oriented feature. It's an object-oriented concept. So we already have one class which is already tested, already debugged, it's already error-free. It's having data methods in it. And from that, you're creating a new class, right? Same mechanism in our real life. We are born from our parents, they from their parent. Then lot of things genetically come, no? Intelligence come, looks come, and we add our own as well. Getting? So here also we are creating a new class from the existing. Whatever is there in the existing is available to the new one. That is reusability. Means B doesn't have to start from the scratch. That's what we see. Nowadays, the success of new generation is fast. Then if you ask your grandfather and you ask your parents, for them the success was not that fast because lot of things were not available. But for your generation, lot of things are available. So you achieve success quite early comparative to them. So everything what is there in A is available to B, and B is adding its own also. That is reuse. So I hope basic concept of inheritance is clear. We will be again going through the definition of it when we will come to topic inheritance in Java. Now, basic idea you got. There is already one class, and from that you're creating another class. The new class will get everything from the existing, plus it can add its own. So it is getting reusability extension. Now, what is multiple inheritance? When one child class is derived from multiple parent class. So actually there is situation like this called diamond problem. This is one parent class A, and from that two child class. This is hierarchical inheritance. You call it as hierarchical. Okay. That is B and C are siblings. Why we call siblings? Because they are children of same parent. So everything of A is available to B, everything of A is available to C also. And they have their own as well. Okay. So here hierarchical. B and C derived from a common. And then from this two parent class, again a child class. So this is called multiple inheritance. So whenever one child is derived from more than one parent, it's called multiple. But now you'll say what the main problem is. Why it is called as a diamond problem. It looks like a diamond. Getting? Though I have not drawn it perfectly. So it is a kite size shape. So we call it as a diamond. Here, what happens is whatever is there in A is going to flow via B path also till D, and it is going to flow via C path also to D. So duplicacy is there. A is going to get duplicated till D twice, wastage. Getting? And even there is ambiguity, confusion. D doesn't know now which copy to use because there are two copies of A reaching to D because it will pass via B also and it will pass via C also. So duplicate. A gets duplicated till D, and then in D there is ambiguity, confusion, which copy to use. Then there is a solution given by C++. You can resolve that. And if you don't want the duplicate, you can create them as virtual parent. But solution, whatever C++ gave, is going to have overhead. Compiler overheads are there. Internally, it has to maintain V tables and all. Okay. So in short, I hope you got it. A gets duplicated via B path and C path till D. So that is one problem. So such situation should not be there. Okay. Duplicate A to this common child. D is having a ambiguity, confusion, which copy to use from that two copies. If you don't want two copies, you can make it virtual. But to make that virtual, there are extra overheads to the compiler to manage that virtual parent classes. So I have shown that diamond problem. A parent class from that two child, and from this two child, common D class. Okay. So this is one drawback of C++, which they found out. Then coming to second drawback. Second drawback is related to memory leak, and memory leaks are associated with dynamic memory management. Means you are allocating and deallocating memory at runtime. Remember, during execution. Now you'll say memory is always at runtime only, but remember there are two ways of allocation. Memory which is allocated at entry and exit of any function that goes on stack. That is not in our control. This is also dynamic, but it is fixed at entry, allocation, and at exit, deallocation. It goes on stack. Getting? But between entry and exit, on your will, you are allocating How much to allocate, when to allocate is completely programmer job. A programmer will. So on programmer's will, how much memory to allocate, when to allocate, and when to deallocate. Deallocate means give it back to the system. So that now you'll say, who is the system? System is operating system, because memory management, who does? OS, your operating system. So giving back to the system so that system can reutilize it for someone else. So that is called dynamic memory. And dynamic memory is always on the heap part, not on the stack part. On stack, who goes? Those which are allocated at entry and those who are deallocated at exit. They automatically go on stack. But the memory which you allocate during execution on the your will, and how much, that is also on your will, and when to deallocate, that is also on your will. That is called dynamic memory, and dynamic memory is allocated on heap. Okay, and all heap memory is managed by pointers. Okay, the pointer is a variable which holds address. Don't go too much in complication, because our main goal is to learn Java, right? So some people may ask that pointer and all. Now just remember, it's a variable which holds address, that's all. Okay, so what that memory leak is, that first I'll try to explain. You have created one pointer of type integer. This is drawback of C++ we are talking about. So P is a pointer. When we say star, means it indicates that in this address is stored. Whenever we give a star before a variable, it tells that to the compiler. In this, address is stored. Yet address is not stored. But we are telling that in this address will be stored. And whose address? A integer address. Means there is some integer and its address is stored here. Okay. Now what I'm doing is I'm allocating memory for an integer. Okay. And then storing that address in this P. So how to allocate memory using new operator? C++ gives operator new. And how much memory? As much is needed for an integer. And I'm going to initialize that memory with some value. Suppose I'm initializing with 5. Okay. Remember this variable P, which is having a name. Okay. It will be always on the stack part. This is your stack part. So whoever are having name are kept on stack, and those which are unnamed are on the heap part. Okay. Now I'll get distracted. Wait, now I'll first complete this and then I'll admit. So stack and heap part. So those variables which are having name, or those variables which will get memory at the entry, they are on the stack part. So this P is a variable which is having name. So obviously it will get space on the stack. Then what you are doing, P equal to new int round bracket 5. So new is the operator which is requesting to the OS that please give me space of an integer on heap. So OS will check on the heap free space, and how much free space? As much is needed for an integer, and it will initialize that memory with 5, and whatever address it is having, that memory, it will return. And that address you are storing in P. Okay, so in P, what is stored? Address is stored. I hope it is clear. Why? Because P is a pointer. So in that only addresses can be stored. So you have allocated memory, right? And the address is stored in P. Now, what is happening after some time? What I'm doing is I'm again allocating another integer memory. Okay. Now, obviously, you have to wait, guys. Now, if you don't join on time, then problem is there. Because when I'm teaching, then it gets distracted. And now, if I go there again, this whole drawing will get erased. So try to join on time. It's kind request to you. So P new int 10. So you are requesting to the OS that please allocate one more integer. So it will allocate one more integer. It will initialize it with 10. Okay. And the address of this new memory will be stored in this P. So is the previous address overwritten? Whatever that previous address was there of this memory, Is it getting overwritten with this new memory address? Okay. So now this new memory address is stored in P. So old address is overwritten. So now you cannot access this P. Can you access this old memory? Inaccessible. Why? Because we have lost address of it. Getting? So if you have lost key of your house, how can you open it? Right or no? So same way, this memory address is lost from us because the new address is overwritten. So you cannot access it. It is inaccessible. And second, you didn't told to the OS also that I don't need this memory, you can take it. Means you have not informed also. Understanding? Means this memory is neither freed nor accessible. You cannot access as well because you have lost the address and you have not told to the OS as well that I don't need this memory, you take it, you can reallocate to someone else. Means it is neither freed. Such memory is called as a memory leak. So memory leak means that memory which is neither accessible nor freed. The memory which is neither freed nor accessible. Understanding? Getting? So it is in Marathi we say, Marathi we have a phrase is there. Na मला न तुला घाल कुत्र्याला. So you are not even accessing. Why you cannot access? Because you don't have address only. And you have not given to the system also, to the OS, that please take it and you can give it to someone else. So you have not done that work also, and you have lost address also. Therefore, such memory is called as a memory leak. And memory leak problem is there in C++ because in C++, the memory which you allocate dynamically, you have to free it also, okay, by using delete. So suppose just before this, I would have written delete P before allocating new memory. Before allocating new memory, if I would have done delete P, then what will happen? This memory will be marked as free so that you OS can reutilize it. So I forgot to do this and directly I allocated new memory. So this memory is a memory leak. What that memory leak means? Memory which is neither freed nor accessible. Getting? So this is also a drawback. This should not happen. Okay. No one is waiting. Go on. So can you give me quick confirmation about memory leak? Memory leak. A memory which is neither accessible and neither
Not free.
freed. Okay. Means it is not freed because you didn't release it using delete operator. And you have lost the address because you stored the new address and the old address is replaced with the new address. So you have lost the old address. As the address is lost, how can you access it? And you have not told to the OS also that take this and utilize it for someone else. So this happens why? Because in C++, if you are allocating memory dynamically, you also have to deallocate it. Automatic garbage collection is not there. Automatic garbage collection meaning the moment you lost the address of some memory, it should be automatically put into free list, which doesn't happen. But this is not the drawback of the Java or other modern like C Sharp and all. Even in Python, they have a proper garbage collection system. Okay. So I hope memory leaks concept is clear. I'll show you here. Integer star P. P is a pointer. Why? Because we have put a star before it. Means in this, what will be stored? Address of an integer. I'm allocating dynamically. Always remember, whenever you allocate memory on heap, it is a dynamic memory, and heap memory allocation is always through new. And heap memory doesn't have name, it is unnamed memory, but it is managed. Why managed? Because it is in our control. We can allocate and deallocate whenever we want. So new, we are asking to the OS, we are requesting to the OS that please allocate one integer memory and initialize that integer with 10. And whatever memory is allocated, its address is stored in P. Then after some time, again I'm allocating a new integer, another integer with value 50 and storing the address in P. What is going to happen? I hope you know it. In this pointer P, first that 10 which is allocated on hip, its address is going to come. But after some time when you allocate 50, its address will come and the previous address is lost. At the moment previous address is lost, we'll say this memory is a memory leak. Not freed, not accessible. You're not able to access it and you're not freed it. Means आप खुद भी नहीं उसको यूज कर रहे हैं एंड किसी और को भी यूज करके नहीं दे रहे. Okay, kind request, guys. Please try to join on time because continuously in between admitting, it becomes distraction, right or no? And I'm a one-man show. I don't have two, three assistants who are taking care of admitting people in, then someone who is taking care of my advertisements, some who are taking care of my notes, nothing like that. Everything I do. Okay, so I hope you'll cooperate with me. Okay, so moving ahead. So this drawback is also clear to you. Moving to the third drawback. Okay, considering the third drawback. Third drawback, that is architecture and platform dependent. Now we will just talk about platform dependent, but the same concept is applicable for architecture. Architecture means what your processor is. Means in your computer, whether you have an Intel processor or you have a Motorola processor or whether you have a Spark processor, because every processor, the architecture is different. So internal, their instruction set will be different. Remember, every architecture will have their own assembly set, their instruction set. Like if you consider very, very old processor like 8085 or 8086, so 8085 is having around 100 instructions only. But if you go to 8086, it's having more than 300 instructions. 8086, or you can take till Pentium, around 300. Okay, but if you go to some other architectures like Spark and all, they have still more. The registers, the flags, okay, they all vary, remember. So internal, their assembly instruction set also change. Okay, and platform means your OS, operating system. So if it's a Windows OS or whether it's a Linux OS or whether it's a Mac OS, accordingly, the things are going to change, remember. Means you cannot run a program which is executing on Windows, you cannot take that directly on Mac and try to run it. No, Mac executables are different, Windows executables are different, and Linux executables are different. Okay, so what I want to say is, assume when I'm talking about platform dependency, similar concept is for architecture. If you consider C++ program, as we are seeing drawback of C++, but applicable to C as well. So you have created a C++ program. Okay, any programs there. Suppose this is a program which is C++ program. I'll call it as A. So that program which you have written is in a high level language, C++. So your computer, that is your processor, cannot understand that high level code, that is .cpp. It is to be translated into machine language so that the computer can understand. I hope this basic things you know. Whenever you write any program in a high level language, that is for your ease, for your convenience. But your program, which is written in a high level language, has to be converted or translated into machine code so that your CPU can execute it. because CPU's native languages, your machine's native languages, 0 and 1. That is the language of computer, binary language, high signal, low signal, 1 and zeros. Everything is represented in the form of zeros and ones. So this program is to be translated. So you will give it to the translator. Obviously, it will be C++ compiler, right or no? So if you have worked on Linux, it will be G++. So you will give it to the C++ compiler. Compiler will check whether there are any syntax, semantic errors in your C++ code. Means in your C++ code only whether it is written correct or not, that it will check. If it is, it will give an error. No, then it will translate it into executable code or a machine code. Actually, internally, lot of things are happening, but just I'm skipping some part. Okay, so it will translate this code into executable code, that is a.exe. Generally on Windows, it is exe. If it is on Linux, it will give a.out. Then if you are on Mac, some other extensions are there. It is translated. Now, this is also a file. Remember, this executable is also a file. It is also stored on the disk. So once you compile it, you can execute it any number of times. Okay. So now what you have to do, you have to load it in the memory. Okay. And the CPU will take charge of it and execute it. But what I'm saying, this whole thing is happening on Windows system. Okay. So if I take this exe on some another system, like if I go to Mac system or on Linux system, I won't be able to run it. Getting? Because this executable is bound to Windows only, or it is bound to the CPU, which is on that system. Understanding? Means this executable is Windows specific. Means you can take this exe and run on another system, but that another system is also having Windows. So if another system is having Windows, you can run it. But if the system only is different, if there is another system that is Linux, actually it is Linux, from the person named Linus Torvald. He introduced the concept of open source OS. He could, because original Unix is not open source, it is still licensed. So Unix open source version is Linux. Okay, whatever. So if it is a Linux system, so on that, if you try to bring this exe, you cannot directly run it. If your program is same, you have to recompile on Linux compiler. There will be another compiler which is meant for Linux. So give that same source code to Linux compiler. It will generate Linux executable, and that can be run only on any Linux system only. Okay. On any Linux system, if you take this executable, it will run. But you cannot do cross, like taking Linux executable and bringing on Windows and try to run, or take the Windows executable and try to run on Linux. It is not possible. Why? Because they are platform dependent as well as architecture. Getting? Means if you are compiling a C++ program on Windows compiler and you get an executable, that executable is bound to Windows only. It can be run on any other Windows system. It cannot be run on any other cross platforms. Understanding? So C++, one drawback is it is platform dependent. Though the source code is independent, means for Windows you will write a different program and for Linux you'll write different, not like that. Programs are same, but after translation, the executable what you get for the same code, same C++ code when translated on Linux C compiler and same C++ code when translated on Windows C++ compiler, you will get different executables because those executable are bound to the respective platform. You cannot do cross execution. Understanding? But then you may say, you may have a doubt that why they are needing this independency, platform independency, architecture independency for their project. Actual, their project was writing a software which will control electronic devices. Get it? I'll tell you, I'll justify that too. Suppose now they have to write a software which will control washing machine. But washing machine makers are different in the market. There is X company also which is making washing machine, a smart washing machine. Not now it is not available only in market. Every washing machine, all electronic devices are made only in a smart way. Okay. So what I'm saying, there is a X company also which is making washing machine, Y company also which is making washing machine, and Z. Inside that washing machine, they have their own microcontroller. Here, there is no microprocessor. They have microcontrollers. It is also a CPU only. You can think about it. You can say it is a processor which is going to execute instruction. But generally, a dedicated machine, we call it as microcontrollers. Like smart cars, in that also we have. Okay. Then many plants are there. Plants means not your environment plant, I'm saying company plant. So there are a lot of pipes flowing here and there. So you have to maintain temperature of each pipe, and that is seen in a control room. And from control room, that all things are done. Getting? So there also such microcontrollers are placed. Okay, but generally they are sensors and which bring the feedback to your control room. But what I want to say, this washing machine will have their own microcontroller. They will have their own microcontroller. Own. So remember, every company need not use same microcontroller because every company is making their washing machines based on the cost factor, then the economy thing. Some companies are there which look only on economy. That uh, cheap, or you can say in the less cost they make it. Some are there, some companies are there like IFB and all, if you consider, they don't think about that. They say we have the product costly, like you can consider a Mac cell phone and you take an Android cell phone. Get it? So microcontrollers can be different and their costing can be different. Even washing machine is also having a OS. Some people say, really? Yes, they also have their own operating system, but that are called as real-time operating system. They're dedicated OS. I mean, those OS are burned on the chip and its task is fixed just to control that. It's not a general purpose OS which we put on our PC and laptops and all, or on our cell phone. They are dedicated OS, but they will also have their OS. They will also have their OS. So what will happen is if they are supposed to write a software which is supposed to control washing machine, so for every company they have to create a separate software. So they want some mechanism that we will create only one software which will be applicable for any machine, any washing machine. Let their processor be anything, let their real-time OS be anything. Still, I should be able to use the same software for all these different company washing machines. Let their real-time OS be different, let their microcontrollers be different, doesn't matter. Understanding? Clear? So that was their main purpose. Otherwise, like then for every company washing machine, again they have to reconstruct the software and then give to those companies. Like, get it? So I hope the concept of architecture and platform dependency, you got it. Assume this is your Windows system, and on Windows system, you have created your C++ program, and then that C++ program you're giving to the C++ compiler. Okay. And what is a compiler? It's a translator. Compiler is a translator, which translates high level code to machine language. And it does the entire translation. It does complete translation. Okay, so compiler will take your C++ code, find out any errors. If there are, yes, it will give you error along with the line numbers. And if there are no error, it will convert this code into machine code that is called as a executable code. Okay. This is the code which your CPU can understand. It is in a native form. It is in your CPU understandable and your OS compatible. Okay. So if I give it to the processor of Windows, it will run. Okay. So on Windows only, if I try to run it, but the same executable if I give to Linux system or if I try to give to Mac system, I hope you know it. This executable will only run on Windows system, but if you try to run it on Linux or Mac, it won't. Means the same program you have to compile for Linux separately and for Mac separately. Means C++ language has given compilers for Linux separate and for Mac separate. Getting? So that drawback is also clear. Okay, so just give me quick confirmation. Anyone can unmute and just give quick confirmation. It gives motivation to me as well, guys. Otherwise, it becomes a monotonous session that I'm just speaking and you're just listening. It should not happen, right? Interaction should be there. Yesterday, I told you three important things you have to do. Attend session completely from first till last, right? Practice along with me. Now, okay, because now we are learning all the theoretical things. The moment we start with our first Java program, after that, everything is programming, guys. Okay, concept program, MCQs, getting trace outputs, all that things will keep coming. Okay, and keep asking questions. I told you. So I hope this platform dependency concept, architecture dependency concept is clear. Yes or no? Someone?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Now
sir.
moving to the fourth drawback of C++, that is pointers. So I hope you know little bit of pointers. If no, just remember pointer is a variable which holds address of some another variable. So there is some another memory and its address is stored in this variable. Okay, right? Generally chat I don't see. If you have typed something in the chat, I have to see it at the end. Okay, so it better unmute and ask me. So pointers, you can say it is a variable which is holding address of some another memory location. Okay, so pointer is actually good, bad. You can create lot of good things from pointer and bad things also. Correct? Means viruses can be introduced in your system with pointer, and to remove those viruses also pointers are used. Correct? If you have read books on writing terminate and stay resident programs by YP Kanetkar. YP Kanetkar has written so many books, series of books only on C language. Getting? So if you read his book, he has shown how to write viruses and all. Getting? So many viruses he has shown. Okay. But what I want to say is pointer gives direct access to the system. As you get direct access to the memory, you can create any havoc or any hazardous thing in the system. As you get access using pointer, you get access to the system. You can even modify the OS system tables. They are called as interrupt vector tables. You can damage that interrupt vector table. There you can put address of some other rotten code. Getting? As with the help of pointer, we get access to the direct system. And therefore, they say pointers are drawback. Getting? Pointers give direct access to the memory, and as it gives direct access to the memory, through that you can create any havoc also in the system. So when we will learn Java, you'll come to know Java never gives direct access to the memory. And therefore, Java can never be used for creating viruses and antivirus. That language is never used for that purpose. Correct? Viruses and antiviruses are written in middle level languages like C, C++, assembly, especially assembly and all. Okay, so pointers give direct access to memory, and direct access to memory can be dangerous. Can be good also, but as I said, bad. Can introduce virus in the system. Now you may say how it happens. Actually, uh, whatever interrupt occurs, no, for every interrupt, then some services are there. Remember, like if you're pressing a key on the keyboard, when you're pressing a key, an interrupt is occurring. And to handle that, there is a service with OS. When you're moving mouse, you're pressing mouse, getting? That time also an interrupt is occurring. You insert a pen drive, getting? That time also an interrupt is occurring. You are getting connected to the internet, an interrupt is occurring. And for every interrupt, there are services. Okay. And their service addresses are kept in one interrupt vector table. Means for every service, there is a number given. It's called as the interrupt number. Okay. And for every interrupt, the service is written in your kernel, in your OS, that services are there. And that services, wherever they are kept, their address is in one table called as the interrupt vector table. Getting? So suppose you are pressing a key. So when you press the key, interrupt 9 occurs. So what your operating system does, goes at ninth place in the table, takes the address of the routine, that service routine, and runs that routine, because that routine is to handle that key press. Now, using pointer, you can get access to this table only. Getting? You can get the access to this interrupt vector table. And if you get access to this, here you can put some another routine address. I've written some another routine, and that address I'm putting, and I'm damaging the old address and putting the new address. So now what will happen is, whenever that interrupt occurs, it will come to the table, but there it is not getting the original address. It is getting address of some another function. And in that you have written some rotten code. Getting? So that is called as a hook code. So you can hook your code in place of that old codes. Okay. But all this thing is happening. Why? Because we are getting access to this table by the address. And how we get the address? By storing it in the pointer. Okay. So through pointer, we get access here, and then we can damage, we can keep some another address. So with this, we can introduce viruses in the system. And therefore, we say pointers can introduce viruses. So you can say it is like a bug. Okay. Ideally, bug is different concept in programming, because generally those who want to go in testing field and all, there they will confuse you with the bug and the error and the defect. Okay, so don't confuse here. Now here we are talking, this bug concept means virus, a rotten code, a code which is damaging your system, or code which is doing something wrong in your system. Okay, so I hope the drawbacks are clear, isn't it? Quick yes or no. All the four drawbacks. Diamond problem, ambiguity. I hope you got it. Memory leaks, we have to explicitly release. And if you don't release it, what will happen? It will not get freed also, nor accessible also. We cannot access nor freed. Third, dependency, platform architecture and platform dependency. Means if you write a program, compile on Windows, you get a exe, that exe is only executable on Windows. You cannot take that exe on Linux and try to run, or on Mac and try to run. Not possible. Getting? And pointers give direct access to memory. Okay. So now this team, what they thought, that there are so many drawbacks in this C++. So why not to design a new language which is based on C++? Means conceptually C++, like classes, objects, access specifier, public, private, constructors, method overloading, method overriding, all inheritance principle, data types, parameter passing, for loop, while loop, if, switch case, all such things will keep same as C++. Meaning, syntactically, we'll try to keep it like C++, because already people were known with C++. They are already comfortable with C++. So they thought of coming with a new language which is based on C++, but these drawbacks eliminated, like diamond problem removed, because they didn't allow only multiple inheritance. Means one child class cannot be derived from more than one parent class. So removed multiple inheritance. Second, automatic garbage collection means you don't have to explicitly release memory. Delete operator not needed. First, you allocated memory through new. After some time, you allocate again new memory through new. The old address is lost. The moment the old address is lost, that memory is put into free list by a garbage collector. An automatic garbage collector is there, which is part of your virtual machine. We'll be learning that. So automatic garbage collection is introduced, therefore memory leak chances zero. They try to make it platform and architecture independent by introducing the concept called bytecode. And they introduce two steps, compilation and interpretation. We will learn in detail, don't worry. Okay. And third, no direct access to memory means eliminate pointers, no pointer mechanism. And as no pointer, no direct access to memory, and therefore you cannot introduce havoc in the system. Okay. So they thought of creating a language which is very much same like C++, but these drawbacks eliminated. And they designed their own language called Oak. Initially, the language was given name Oak. Oak, not from our Pune Sadashivpet Oak. Getting? So that is oak plant. In US, there are a lot of oak plants which are used for furniture because US lot of cold is there. No? So flooring, their roofs are made from this oak wood. Okay. So oak plant everywhere in the premises in US, in university premises, office premises, there will be oak plants. So they thought of giving their language name oak. Why? Because James Gosling was gazing outside of the window. They were thinking, now we have designed the language. Okay. We have come with their compilers and interpreters and all their library. Okay. So now we have to give some name to it. And he was seeing outside of the office window and he saw in the office premises oak plant and he gave name to his language oak. Okay. Many products were created in oak initially. They created some softwares which could control electronic devices. Okay. Like set-top boxes, video on demand. We have set-top boxes like in your house also. You have the DTH systems like Tata system is there or Airtel and all. So we have a set-top box. So to control that set-top box, they wrote software and that was burned on the chip and the chip is inserted in that device. Okay, so they created in Oak. Even they use this Oak language for some telecom company to control their PBX, CPBX boards are there, exchange boards. So for that also they have used Oak language. That project was also called as Star 7 project because that telecom company for whom they created that software, their all numbers were starting with 7 and for hot dial we write star. Therefore they gave their project name as Star 7. So a lot products were created, a lot of softwares were made in Oak for controlling electronic devices. Okay. So as I said, now James Gosling decided to come up with a new computer programming language, a new language which will be conceptually based on C++. Same OP concept, class, then private, public, protected, constructors, everything, for loop, while loop, data types, nearly data types also they try to keep same. So C++ based, but the problems eliminated. Getting? And they came with a language called Oak. Oak was based on C++, but problems removed. Meaning in Oak, no multiple inheritance. So never you will have a problem of the diamond problem. No diamond problem, so no duplicacy. Getting? Then they introduced automatic garbage collection. The moment you lost the reference, but actually now you may say you're telling contrary. Somewhere you're telling address and somewhere you're saying pointer is only not there. Actually, that is not a direct address. It's a hash table entry. But at this moment, you remember the moment you allocate new memory and store the address of new memory, the old memory is put into free list. There is a garbage collector which will check for all such blocks whose references are lost, and it will put it into a free list. So that problem eliminated. Then they tried to make it platform independent by introducing the concept of bytecode. How, that also I'll tell you. And they eliminated pointers. Okay, so no multiple inheritance, so no diamond problem. Automatic garbage collection, I forgot to write E. Then platform and architecture independent they made, meaning if you write one Oak program, compile it and you get a bytecode, the same bytecode you can run on any system. Correct? But then you'll say how it is possible. So every system should have a virtual machine. Okay. So what that virtual machine is, I'll tell you. These people developed virtual machines for all types of OS. Okay. And no pointers, so no direct access to memory. Correct? Then why they gave name Oak? I told you he was gazing outside of the window. These are all pictures through AI I have generated. I just instructed, give me one image of Jane Gosling gazing outside of the window, and the AI tool made this and gave me. Correct? See how you can take benefit of AI. Okay, so he was gazing means you understood, no? Seeing, peeping outside of the window. Generally, you might have done it in the college. Sometimes when the professor is actually taking a very boring lecture. So if you're sitting besides the window bench, many times you keep seeing outside who is going, who is coming. So he was seeing outside of the window, and in his office premises, lot of oak plants were there, and therefore he decided, let's give name oak. Okay, so this is your oak plant. Then in oak, some products were created, guys. Oak was used in controlling television system, interactive television system that is called as video on demand. Then even they use it for some for some telecom company. Okay, Star 7 project was there. And meantime, they gave time to mature oak, right? This oak language. Mature meaning, you understanding? It's not like when your parents say that let us give them time to grow up. Now they are small. If they grow up, they will become mature. So, in short, here, mature meaning what? Let's make the language more better, add more libraries, make it more efficient, more secure. Getting so focus on security things, focus on making more better libraries, whatever libraries are provided, let's make more like better library. Efficiency means taking less time for compilation and interpretation. So for that, they gave time for oak to mature. So meanwhile, oak was given chance to mature, like this. You can say that it was a sapling initially. Sapling means, I hope you know, just a small plant, and time to become a mature tree. This also through AI I have generated. Same thing, I just instructed that give me two oak plant from sapling to a mature tree. Your AI tool has given me such beautiful picture. Getting? So I hope till here everything is fine. Okay. So just give me quick confirmation. So the history part, you got it. Now we have reached till Oak language. And language Oak was used to control electronic devices. Getting? Okay. Now there was already Oak technologies. Okay. Quickly, I'll try to wind up with this history part. I'm sure you have a lot of patience hearing me. Right or no? So Oak Technologies. Already there is a company called Oak Technologies. They have put a copyright claim on them that you have used our name. So copyright problem came. And therefore, this team was supposed to rename their language. Now the question arises, what name should we give? Getting? And see how these people are. If anyone puts a copyright thing, they immediately follow it and they come to new thing. Right or no? If India, if you see, rules are meant only to be broken, right? We never follow traffic signal. We never use helmet. We never put a seat belt. And if someone tells us, we rather give some good advice to them. Getting मराठी में बोलते हैं शहाणपणा शिकवू नकोस, right or no? And especially if you come to a city like Pune, you'll come to know how everyone is clever over here. So rules are meant to be followed, not to be broken, right or no? So how that copyright claim came and then now they decided let's give some new name. Now what should be the new name? Okay, so renaming of oak in Marathi we say परत बारसं करायचं. Again नामकरण करणं. ठीक है? Why? Because as I said, Oak Technologies have put copyright claim. Then this team was deciding what should be the name to be given. Right? Again, this is also the picture Gemini has made and given me. I just instructed to Gemini that James Gosling and his team give me a picture of James Gosling and his team having coffee. It has generated. Now this team was having habit of drinking coffee. So they were sitting having coffee and then they were deciding what name should be given. They came with some names like Silk, then DNA, and a lot of Insta reels are there nowadays, especially our Indian people that आमच्या बाळाचं नाव काय ठेवायचं, right or no? So these people also decided what name should be given. So few names they list out. Silk, DNA, Java. Now, Java, why? Because the coffee which they used to drink, that coffee was made from Java coffee beans. There's a special type of bean, coffee beans, okay, from the Java island. It is in Indonesia, and it is the world's best coffee bean produced in that island. Okay, Java Island, which is in Indonesia. So these people were having habit of drinking coffee and especially of that Java beans only. So now they have concluded that let's rename our language as Java. Silk was cancelled, DNA was cancelled, and final confirmation was given for Java. And I told you why Java? Because Java from Java Island. There is one island called Java Island where the best coffee is produced, world's best coffee producer. Okay, clear? In India also there are many places where coffee, Kurg and all. If you go to Kurg, Kodaikanal and all, there also coffee is even nowadays in Goa also. If you go, there are areas where they produce coffee. But this is the best one, the best of the world. Okay, and they confirmed that our language name should be Java. And then they made official logo of Java as that cup and saucer with vapors, you can see. So this become the official logo. Why this official logo? I hope you might have got a hint. Okay, and then there was one mascot also, the Duke. Duke is a juggler, a joker who does that juggling. Getting? So this Duke became the official mascot. Mascot means you can say a symbol or a animal who is going to do the marketing. For marketing purpose, we use. Okay. So that is called as a mascot. Like when we have Olympics and all, we have the Olympic mascot, right? Our World Cup and all is there. So they use one mascot and that is used for branding and for branding purpose or for marketing purpose. So this Duke means a juggler, a joker who does that juggling. So that is the official mascot and this is your official logo. Getting? But now all this thing now, but till the till now, publicly it is not known that this language is Oak language because yet this language was not made to the available to the public. Okay, till now this language was not made available to public. Public means you're understanding people who are going to do programming in that language, not the general person. Means the programmers in the world, those who are dealing with the programming field, for them, this language was not made available. Their compilers, their interpreter, tools, libraries, nothing was made available. Okay. So with this, 1993 introduced. Okay. 1993. Now, in 1993, this World Wide Web was coming into boom. Internet was coming into boom. And on internet, whatever information is kept, okay, that are in the HTML document form, and then we share it with each other, means we view it in the browser with the help of www concept. So World Wide Web was coming into boom, but that time, whatever documents were kept on this WW, they were static HTMLs, plain HTML. Means we could use rich fonts, rich colors, realistic images, but all those HTMLs were static. Like if you go to Wikipedia and all, on Wikipedia you can see just content, links are there. If you click on link, it goes to another page. So that way the pages were created, but they were not dynamic. Getting means the content is changing runtime. On the client request, the content is changing. On client input, the values are changing. No interactivity is there. Interactivity means forms, you're creating forms, and then user is entering it and submit. So when the person enters submit, the data goes to the server. Then server side, there is some program which will take that value, push it in MySQL or Oracle, and then give a reply to you. Such thing was not possible. Plain HTMLs. Correct? So this James Gosling and team thought of why not to use Java to make HTML interactive. And can you see how they have diverted their attention from where to where, from which area to which area? Till now, they were in controlling electronic devices. Means till now, that language was used only for writing softwares which will control electronic consumable device. Now they have kept that domain aside, and now they have switched their focus in this area. Getting? They thought of why not to make Java, use Java for making these HTMLs interactive and dynamic. And why Java only? Because Java is platform and architecture independent. Getting? It is not bound to any OS, and it is not bound to any platform and not any architecture. Understanding? And internet is also made up of that only. Internet is a heterogeneous connection of heterogeneous machines. Tell me, in internet, so many machines are connected. Not necessarily they all have same processor, same OS. You know it, like when you two friends chat on laptop, possible your friend is having a Mac system and you are having a Windows system. Still you are communicating, no? On Insta or on Facebook or anything. Correct? So these two machines are heterogeneous machine. Maybe the processor is different, the OS is different, and still the interaction is happening. That is the speciality of internet. So why not to make use of Java to make this HTML interactive? And they came with the concept called Java applets. But today Java applets have become absolute. Means from Java 17 it is outdated. They have removed it. Means now in today's day we cannot make such Java applets and all. It has become deprecated. They have put it into history. Getting in history, the itihas mein dal diya. Today, we don't have any Java version which will allow you to run Java applets. But initially, they came with a concept called Java applets. So what are Java applets? They are small Java programs embedded in a HTML. Okay, in a HTML, you're going to embed that Java applets and you can run it within a browser. And browser, you know it, to view your HTML output, we need a browser. On the internet, we interact through browser only. Everything is happening through, we go to the website, then we fill the data. Everything is happening through what? Browser. We see the response. So browser is the main software through which we interact on the internet. The internet, the interaction is happening only through browsers. Okay, so it is a small Java program embedded in HTML and it is run within the browser. Okay, and these Java Java applets, They made HTML interactive. Means initially these applets were used to create accept values from the form or do animations in your HTML pages. Okay. In your HTML page, you can create animations using multi-threading, graphics and all. Okay. And the web-based games and all were developed. Okay. So in short, what I wanted to say, they came with this concept. Okay. And from there onwards, Java became language of internet and the domain only changed. They moved their focus from electronic device controlling to making programs for the internet. Okay. Now to run this applet, browser was needed. Is it or no? Clear? But that time company, hear me carefully, don't get distracted because a lot of theory part has happened, lot of history I'm telling. So you have to hear it, but hear carefully. Initially, to run this applets, okay, if you want to run this applet, it was to be run within a browser. So that time, whatever browser making companies were there, the famous one is Netscape Navigator. That also has become absolute now. It has gone in history. But I remember in 94 and all, when first time this internet concept, it was very fascinating for us. I used to go in near Vadia College. In Vadia College, no, there was one cyber cafe near Wakefield Company. And that time they used to take 300 rupees for 1 hour. Okay. And five, six friends we used to contribute and we go. And that time the internet was connected with Bombay server. It was not at all broadband and all dial-up network. Okay. So what I wanted to say that in this internet mechanism, browser is the main role player because anything on the internet, whatever pages are there, if you want to access, you have to access it in the browser. So that time, the companies which were making browser, like Internet Explorer of Microsoft or Netscape Navigator of Netscape company, those browsers were not enabled with Java, no? Because they are already created. No? When Java didn't come, before that only the browser were made. So those browsers were not compatible or Java enabled. Means Java applets couldn't be run in those browsers. So the request was done to those companies that please come with your new version browser in which applets could be executed. Getting? But they were very adamant because they were not knowing the power of Java. They didn't realize that this language Java will become very famous in the coming years. So they didn't took हम हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना like हल्के में लिया उन्होंने कि हो गया ऐसे ही कोई language. So they didn't come out with the new version of browser. And therefore, this team, Sun Microsystem team, James Gosling, they were not going to sit idle. They said, let it be. These people are not coming with a new version browser in which applets are enabled. Let us come with our own browser. And they came with one first browser called as Hot Java. This is the browser created in Java itself. The first browser created by Sun Microsystem in Java only. And in this browser, they first time tested applets. The applets were tested in this browser. Okay. But then soon these companies realized because this applet made a boom in internet. Why? Because the static pages, we could make it dynamic, interactive with the help of applets. And therefore, that time these companies realized that soon this Java is going to be powerful. And therefore, they also came with their next version browsers. Getting? They designed the new version browser in which applets were enabled. Okay. Now, today in market, we don't have any browser which doesn't support. But in short, after 17, they have removed this applet concept. Okay. So with this, I said around 1993 took. Okay. And then in 1995, they made this language Java officially available to people. Getting? They made their compilers, their interpreters, their tools, their runtime environment, libraries, everything free available to the people. Those were programming people. And then they took that and they started developing their programs. So officially Java 1995. And then after that, there are a lot of versions coming continuously, Java 1, Java 2, getting? And now we have reached to Java 26. Okay. Now in 25 and 26, Java 25, 26, we don't have to write even class, directly write main. So a lot of features are there. I'll be telling you about that. Don't worry. Okay. So many versions came. Java 5. I started with Java 1.4. My life, I started from there. Okay. Then the stable version was 1.8. Now the latest stable version is 17. Okay. And after that, they are saying like 24 can be the stable version. Okay. So only versions are coming. Versions means new libraries, new better performance, more better security. Okay. So the initial version Java and now it is bulky. It's becoming bulky. I remember when we started, it was around 5 MB. Now it is more than 150 MB. So why? Because the libraries have increased, the tools have increased, obviously their performance has increased. So the software is becoming bulky, bulky, bulky software. Getting? Okay. So I hope that part is clear. So quickly we will wind up with this part. So in 1993, as I said, www was coming in boom. And on www, everything is in form of HTMLs. So using HTML, we could use rich font, colors, then realistic images, but the drawback was no interactivity, meaning no forms. You are entering data in the form. That form is going to the server and then it is fetching that value, then putting it in the database, giving you the response back. Getting such interactivity not possible. Okay. So the Sun team thought of coming with their own concept called as applets. So team thought of using Java to make web interactive and dynamic. Why they thought of using Java only? Because Java is platform and architecture independent. Getting? And the internet is also made up of heterogeneous machine. Right or no? In the internet, if this is the server where that applet is kept, that Java program, which is in a dot class form, is kept on the server. And then all the people in the internet, in the globe, who are connected with that server, they can request to this dot class. And that dot class will come download, and the virtual machine of that client virtual machine will run and show the output in their browser. Okay, the same dot class can come in this machine also, who all are connected with the internet. Possible this machine is Mac machine, this is a Windows machine, this is a Linux machine. Doesn't create any problem. Same bytecode can be run on this or this machine. But then you'll say how it is possible because every machine is having a VM, virtual machine. And this Sun microsystem has developed a VM for all OS in the globe. In the globe, as many OS are there. The famous one is Windows, Mac, Linux, for everyone. Okay, so all that concept of VM, what is VM and all, we'll learn in detail. Don't worry. So they thought of making internet dynamic by using Java. And they came with a concept called applets. And what are applets? Java programs. They are small Java programs. They are embedded in a HTML and they are viewed in the browser. Means they are run by the VM, but the output is seen in the browser. Okay. Small Java program embedded in HTML and run within browser. Okay. Then, as I said, that time to test these applets, we need a browser. But that time, whatever browser making companies were there, they were not ready to come with the next version in which applets will be enabled because that old browsers were not applet compatible. So obviously they have to come with a new version of browser which is applet compatible. They were not ready. So this team thought of, okay, to test this applet, we will create our own browser. Team designed their own browser called Hot Java. This is the oldest and the first browser created in Java only in which applets were tested. Correct? But as I said, soon they realized the power of Java. Getting? And these all companies like Netscape Navigator, Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer, they all came with the new version. They announced their support. Announce their support means as our politicians take a press conference and they announce that from tomorrow I'm joining this XYZ party. Not like that. Huh? They announce their support means they announce that we will come with the next version browser in which what can be run applets. Okay, so they came with the next version browser in which applets could be run. And this whole thing has arisen in 1995, and officially the announcement of Java was done in 1995. Official announcement, meaning I hope you got it. They made that language tools, their compilers, their interpreters, their debuggers, their profilers, their runtime environment, their libraries, everything they made it available to the people of the globe, those who are interested in writing or developing programs in that language. Correct? So they made it officially available. Okay? So this was the entire history part. Tomorrow we will go with the timeline quickly within 5 minutes. The timeline meaning you understood, no? Like 1990, what happened, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95. Okay, so all that timeline we'll see, and then we will dive into the features of Java. Okay, and once we complete with some important 5, 6 features, then we will start with our programming journey. Okay, so we will start with our installation of JDK, then first Java program, everything I'll tell you. Don't worry. Okay. So till here, everything is fine. Just give me quick confirmation so that we can take a pause over here.
Yes, sir.
Sure,
Yes.
others also, others, those, and if you have doubt, you can ask me, no problem. Or you can note it and then later you can ask me. Tomorrow, only little part of this we will see, that is the entire timeline. Uh, Previously on Facebook also the timeline used to come. So timeline means how it started and where it has reached. Okay. So now you say Java as the language of internet because now specifically Java is used only for creating such advanced web applications and all. Okay. The initial application of controlling electronic device is stopped and it has entered into this domain. Okay. And you can see from around 90 till 26. Means more than 35 years this language is in existence and it will be in existence, okay, because it's having lot of good features. Okay, so for today we will take a pause over here, guys. Thank you, all of you.